Why though? She must say to my sister and I got soil. The man who
p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
This is your friend Urush from Sendwave. Sendwave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With Sendwave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, Sendwave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use Sendwave? Sendwave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for star, R for radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 07497377647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about Sendwave and help you any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at
broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow, a very good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is the most important evening that you want to make sure that you are sitting out here so that we can give you exactly what is happening. Welcome to my listeners from around the world. My name is Olayomi Koiki as we are getting ready for the evening. First and foremost, I think we should start with something very nice, something to kick you going. First and foremost, I'd like to appreciate my producer, Mr. Frank David, Mr. Archie Armand, for keeping us available for today and as many of other days that we are live on the Star Radio UK. Where do we start from? There is a lot happening in Nigeria. There's a lot happening in Africa. But my job is to make sure that we give to you exactly how quickly, how vital the election petition tribunal that is going on right inside Abuja right now. I will be telling you everything you need to know. All you need to do is just sit back and relax, and we might also have the opportunity, to open the phone line as well. A lot of you know that Nigeria is a very important country in the world, and as the president is currently in India for the G20 that is coming up as well. My question is, do we now say that there will be a final conclusion, to the outcome of the election tribunal that has currently, been the vital, very, very important, as many Nigerians will be asking the question, have we now got a closure to the election petition tribunal, or should we say what next? I'll be telling you everything I know so far, from Abuja, and as many of other important information that we will be sharing with our listeners from around the world. But the question is, I remember, Sonny Okosu. I'm sure some of you that are, a little bit, older like myself, would know that Sonny Okosu was a very popular Nigerian musician. And I remember Sonny Okosu music that went like this. Let's start with that. A very good evening and welcome. Which way? Which way? Which way to go? All right. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria. A very good evening and welcome. If you're joining me for the very first time, this is the Star Radio UK network, and this is how we do it every Wednesday, as we are now into the first half of the program. Once again, a very good evening and welcome. Many years after our independence, we still find it hard to stand. Are we finding it hard to stand? How shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Are we ever going to reach that promised land is the question that so many Nigerians are asking this evening. Once again, shout out to my producer, Mr. Frank David, and Mr. Archie, the sound engineer. Shout out to all our other presenters on the Star Radio UK network. Let's go again. Let's save Nigeria. Can we say that today Nigeria can be saved? Or for those of us that say that no, there's nothing called Nigeria, we should start, winding it down. What is your take on that? Once again, my name is Olayomi Koiki, and welcome to the final election tribunal that is going on in Nigeria with Peter Obi, Atiku, Bola Tinubu. Will that be the final conclusion? What is your take? I want you to sit back as we're getting ready for the program this evening. Nigeria will die. Should we say that Nigeria will not die, as Nnamdi Kanu has now become a very big stumbling block to so many people? Nnamdi Kanu is like the time bomb, as many of those that are asking for the right to self-determination. Nigeria, which way Nigeria, tell me. Are you still of the view that many Nigerians still love their fatherland, as many Nigerians still believe that Nigeria continue to exist is very important for Africa? And some say the existence of Nigeria should now come into a final conclusion because Nigeria has not performed to expectation, and many are saying it is time now that we allow Nigeria to be dissolved. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria. We are live on as many of our platforms, and I say good evening to those of you that are joining us from all those platforms, from Instagram to Twitter to the MixLR. It is a fully packed event this evening, and I want you to sit back Good evening to those of you at Dewumi to be talked by. Good evening to my beautiful mother. Good evening to my family. And good evening to all my loved ones from around the world. And I welcome you once again to Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
That goes wrong, we start to blame the government.
The question is, who should we blame when things are going wrong in Nigeria? Who should we blame when things are going on in Africa? Who actually should we blame is the question, as many are now looking up to, the conclusion of the election tribunal. Are you going to be satisfied when that conclusion that I'm going to be telling you a little bit about as well? Once again, if you're joining us, it's coming up to 15 minutes past 1800 hours, and that is just 15 minutes past 6 p.m. My name is Olayomi Koiki, and this is the final part of when we're going to be telling you what you need to know and what you might also have to know when it comes to the election tribunal. If you can hear me loud and clear in all the platforms, please let me know before we start into the full program, so that we do not start running around when we are not being heard from all the other platforms as well. Once again, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
We know everything that goes on because we are part of the government.
Are we sure that we are part of the government? Good evening to my beautiful mom, and welcome once again to those of you that have joined us as well. We appreciate as many of you that come in to listen to us, to share your own views with us. We love your feedback, and we appreciate you. If you're joining me for the first time, this is what we do every Wednesday. As we review, we talk about so many important part of what is going on in Nigeria. But right now, it's all about the election petition tribunal. Busari Kazim, good evening and welcome.
Let's take Nigeria, so Nigeria will die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Tell me, which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah, I want to know which way Nigeria.
Once again, every Wednesday, and this is how we roll out every Wednesday. I say good evening and welcome once again.
Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now.
Do you think that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be following the development back in India, where he's currently preparing for the most important part of the G20 that is also coming up this particular weekend?
Corruption here, there and everywhere. Inflation is very high.
How do we solve the inflation in Nigeria? What do you think that the president can do more, to bring those investors into the country? These are all the questions that many Nigerians are also focusing on, as some are focusing on the election petition tribunal. And I say, good evening, Mr. Dewumi. I say, now everyone will understand now that Yoruba Nation is the solution. Do you think so, that many people will understand that? We'll find out later on. I say good evening to those of you that are joining us on the Twitter space. Good evening on Instagram. Good evening on the TikTok. Good evening on the Mix LR, Comrade Plan B, and the rest of you. And a very good evening to my boss, and good evening to my missus. Good evening to my madam. Good evening to my grandmother. Good evening to as many of you that have joined us again. And I say welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a very, very beautiful weather. The weather is just doing as it says it means to do. Good evening, Ogun. Good evening to you all the way in Osun State. Good evening in Kwara. Good evening in Ekiti. Good evening in the Southeast. Good evening in Kaduna. Good evening in America, in Canada, in the Far East Asia. Good evening in Turkey. Good evening in Greece. Good evening in Benin Republic. Shout out to Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. Good evening to Professor Banji Akintoye. And a very good evening to all our listeners. And I say shout out to our Biafra brothers and sisters. Good evening, Mrs. Wura Ade Beauty. And as many of you that have joined us so far, you are now welcome to the live transmission of the Star Radio UK network. Do you think think that we made a lot of mistake, and during the oil boom, rather than the money to be distributed to prepare Nigeria for the days ahead, get those infrastructure ready, make sure that many Nigerians will be able to have, a better opportunity. But it seems that Abacha and the rest of the cronies took out billions of dollars out of Nigeria, and today Nigeria is literally struggling when it comes to inflation and the economy as well. Once again, good evening. If you're joining me for the first time, my name is Olayomi Koiki. Good evening to Olamilekon all the way in Southwest Yoruba land. Good evening to Mrs. Iyabo Olubume Oluwole Kennedy says good evening as well. Good evening to my grandmother, a beautiful mother, a big grandmother, Oladapo Tonyi Shola. Good evening to you, Ayomi Kundamiju says Osha is dancing. Good evening to a grandmother, Princess Adebimpe Adeniyi Awoniyi. Good evening, Pink Dora. Shout out to those of you. And good evening to a mother, Comfort Olagunju, and every one of you that have joined us. My name is Olayomi Koiki, and I'll be telling you everything we need to know in just about a few minutes. Once again, if you like the kind of outfit that I'm putting on, I'll be telling you how you can also get yours, from one of the finest designer in town, and how you can get that. I'll be telling you more. If you like the outfit, you can just put in one and say, yes, I love that outfit and it fits you very well. Like I always say, I love it when I have it in a long sleeve like these. It's very beautiful, and you can get it in different materials as well. I say good evening to those of you that are joining me for the first time. If you're not familiar with this program comes up every Wednesday from just 1600 hours up to 8:30 p.m. So if you're new to this platform, I'll be telling you more. But once again, if you like this kind of outfit, you can check it out from the Instagram, where you'll be able to be able to get yours as well, at a very cheap price, but quality. Wherever you are around the world, you can reach out to Omita Culture as OMITAFCOUTURE. You can get a bespoke tailoring, Ashwebi, custom made, Owambe, kids for the wear, fashion training is also available, and you can reach out to them at this particular WhatsApp +234 813 8528588. Again, you can reach out to Omitaf Culture Fashion Designer for the bespoke tailoring, Ashwebi, custom made, Owambe, the kids wear, and the fashion training is also available on the WhatsApp +234 813 8528588. They are the one putting on this outfit on us every Wednesday, and we would like to appreciate them for the great job that they are doing and making us look very where do we start? There's a lot happening, and those lot happening means that my job is to make it easy for many of our listeners from around the world. Maybe you're joining me for the first time. Okay, we come back to you, Igboho. Maybe we should listen to Chief Sunday Adeyemo. I think I love that music. The one he was actually dancing to. Maybe we should listen to that. What do you think? You might not be able to see Igboho dancing, but if you go on our social media, you'll be able to see the moves. Igboho was dancing, and he's always excited, man. And let's listen to him right now. We'll come back again. Oh yeah. Hey. Oh yeah. Ibi tani kan ṣe dé. Níbẹ̀ ni bàbá God. Opo. And if you are not a Yoruba, you will probably not Okay, Abiodun Lexi say is loud and clear. Thank you so much, Shegun Yovo, and thank you so much to those of you that have settled down and want to listen to the program this evening. Abuja, we've been waiting for that day. A lot of Nigerians' expectation is becoming clearer. Many Nigerians that want to know whether the judiciary will perform the task ahead of them. Many Nigerians have been asking, when are they going to deliver this newborn baby? And the judges have been working since about 9 o'clock this morning till right now as I speak to us. My question then is, will the judges be able to deliver the hope of many Nigerians? Good evening to you, Mr. Oladele Olamilekan. You said, Oloye Sunday Igboho Osha, Imole Gbogbo Ile Yoruba, Ekushe Takutaku, Okunrin Ogun. Good evening to all our medias. Mr. John Boko, good evening to you. Good evening to a mother, Adiat Odewale. I'll be telling you more about what an MP, a member of parliament, said about Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu has become a time bomb for those that kidnap him and rendition him back to Nigeria. But as many of us have been following the development of the election tribunal, it seems that the verdict is coming out gradually. The tribunal have just begun the judgment on Atiku PDP petition, but the news coming out from Abuja says the Labour Party Peter Obi couldn't prove that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu conviction in America. Let me take that again. I'm sure a lot of you remember that there was this information out in the public domain that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had some almost $500,000 confiscated in America. But as I speak to us today, being the 6th day of September 2023, coming up to 6:30 p.m., there are been some information coming out from Abuja, and those information means that we can now confirm, in the midst of tight security, many might not be pleased with some of the outcome, but it looks like Peter Obi is not doing very well when it looks like the scoreline in Abuja. I understand that there are so many feelings and tension on the ground right now across Nigeria, and we are only going in accordance to what we know based on the information coming out from the court. My question is, are Nigerians ready to accept whatever the outcome of the election tribunal? Good evening to you, as many of you that have joined us on TikTok, and I welcome you all. And we love you, we appreciate you. And I want us to sit down and listen, because we must be able to clarify that the breaking news also says that the 25% have been thrown out. It looks like this judgment day of the Presidential Election Tribunal deciding the fate between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is being challenged by Peter Obi of the Labour Party and Abubakar Atiku of the PDP. There are so many protesters in Abuja, and we also have it on information that Asari Dokubo is also on ground with some of his men. Not too sure for what reason, But it seems that there is a tension on the ground. Again, we are starting the first half of this program with the development as the tribunal continue to dismiss APC suit against Obi's membership of Labour Party. Remember that Peter Obi was a member of the PDP, but due to the fact that the PDP and the Labour Party, no, I'll take that again. Remember that Peter Obi was a member of the PDP, but for the fact that Atiku Abubakar was not ready to step back for Peter Obi decided to move away from that party after he flew down to London, and we saw him going into number 10 Downing Street. We are not too sure what took place or what transpired. Some said that Peter Obi was a distraction for the Biafra movement. Though Peter Obi disagreed with that view. Peter Obi says the reason why I have joined the Labour Party is because I can get presidential ticket. And that led to what we call the obedient movement today. And it seems that the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has also dismissed the petition of the ruling All Progressive Congress, known as the APC, on the eligibility of Peter Obi to contest the 2023 general election. The APC had challenged Obi's membership of the Labour Party, declaring it incompetent. But Justice Abba Mohammed, a member of the 5 panel, have now confirmed that Peter Obi membership had no issue. President Bola Tinubu and the Vice President Kashima Shettima had contended that they had the local stand to institute the petition on the ground that Obi only joined the Labour Party few days before the election instead of the mandatory 30 days given by INEC. I have to explain as many of these so that some of you that probably have not clear understanding will at least have a better idea of what is coming out from Abuja this evening. There's a lot of information out there, but we are going to give you the only information that we have. At about almost 8:30, at about just coming up to 7:30, it's going to be a full broadcast on the self-determination, and you don't want to go anywhere because there is now a new member of, there's a member of parliament in UK challenging the British government of a British passport holder for being kept in DSS custody after the rendition. So you don't want to go anywhere, but we need to start with the first half of this program with the outcome of the election tribunal. Does that mean that the judges saw nothing wrong with Peter Obi being a member of the Labour Party? That I want you to take note of. The court held that the Section 133 of the Electoral Act provided that the loser and the winner of an election, as well as the person or body who conducted the election, are to be joined as a respondent. Let's come back again to what we know when it comes to Peter Obi on Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria today. Once again, there is still ongoing between the outcome from Atiku, but I'll be telling you what we know so far from FCT back in Abuja. But what we can tell you and confirm that is already out in the public domain from the outcome of these tribunal challenge is that 10 out of 13 of the petition against APC by Peter Obi, the Labour Party, has been thrown out. What can you mean? I mean, what can you read from that? I'll be telling you everything we need to know. Tribunal have strike out Labour Party case against Tinubu, but right now they are reading through Atiku, because it is not just Peter Obi that is challenging, but we can also confirm that PDP is also challenging. There was a senior advocate of Nigeria that actually interrupted the proceeding, and that was something that I was like, wow. Who actually interrupted? Remember that in the morning, I was able to tell you that the APM Tribunal already strike out what we can say that the Allied People's Movement is another political party petition is an abuse of the court process, having ventilated the same issues before the Federal High Court. The petition was struck out on the ground of lack of locus and stand to raise the issue of a valid nomination. But right now, there is a senior advocate of Nigeria that actually interrupted the proceeding of the judgment. I thought maybe there were going to be some kind of rowdy, but it seems that the judges have now, Labour Party have rejected, this is the breaking news coming out right now, Labour Party have rejected the tribunal judgment and they are going to announce the next move. What do you think is going to be the next move? A protest? A Supreme Court? What do you think the obedient are going to be doing tonight? But the breaking news coming out just less than 6 minutes ago says clearly that the Labour Party have totally rejected the tribunal judgment. Once again, this is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, and these are the developments coming out right now from Abuja at the PEP judgment, the PEP verdict. But like I said, there was an interruption, and that interruption was quickly shut down when the tribunal shut down a senior advocate, Charles Uwusuyi Edosuwa, for interrupting the court judgment. Let's listen to that quickly.
Well, you all should be arrested by saying it is either dismissed or is allowed. But, my lord, sir, I'm very sorry again, sir. Even if your lordships are going to say, your brethren are going to say their piece later on, sir, at least you all, my lord, well, you all should be arrested by saying it is either dismissed or is allowed. I was wondering if your lordship would not put a pronounce that it's been dismissed. So that, what are you saying? I'm sorry, but I don't want to be confused, sir. I've listened to your lordship's eloquent judgment. Sorry, please, let us see you. You don't have to interrupt judgment. We are delivering judgment and we are still on. Please leave the judgment where it is. My lord, I'm very sorry, sir. If you are confused, when you get the judgment, you read it. No, my lord, I'm not confused at all. Okay, then please. I'm making a suggestion. No, you don't have to suggest to us how to deliver judgment. I'm sorry. So you seriously think that all five of us wouldn't know that? Wouldn't know what you want? Lord, I apologize.
Well, that is the some of the tension. That is some of what is being played out at the court right now. But the breaking news coming to the wire right now says that the Labour Party have rejected the tribunal judgment and they will be announcing the next move. I don't know what is going to be the next move. All I can confirm is that they've actually rejected, and the tribunal is still looking into Atiku as I speak to you right now. There is still tension, and maybe we should dose down our own tension with this particular music. And that is Igboho dancing yesterday. Hey. Oh yeah, that music is just saying that whatever you are doing that you say you are tired, Igboho is not yet tired. And somebody said to me, I should just go and, sometimes I get very, excited when I see those that wants to be in the same position like myself. One thing is, you would have to wait for your time. I am delivering the judgment right here on the Star Radio UK network, and I would like to appreciate my producer, Mr. Frank David, and the rest of you that have joined us. Like I said, at 7:30 p.m., I'll be telling you everything you need to know from the Biafra, as there will be another 3 weeks total lockdown. Is Nnamdi Kanu continue to be kept in there? The government in exile of the Biafra, under the leadership of Mazi Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister government in exile, says we will be shutting down Nigeria for another 3 weeks. But that is not where we are right now. We are still at the Election Petition Tribunal. And maybe you are joining me for the very first time. This is called Star Radio UK. And it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And I say good evening and welcome to many of you that have joined me as well. As we are going to come to those of you back on TikTok, just give us a few minutes. One thing we need to say to many of you that sometimes disagree with what we are saying, you don't have to be upset. We are only here to deliver our own job. My job is to educate many of you, and this platform, Star Radio UK, is doing exactly that. If you're not excited, if you're not happy, well, you can also take us to the local court and say that we must have more of what is being discussed. Maybe you want me to be doing 2 days, 3 days more of the Star Radio UK when it comes to, the information. But you can join me every Wednesday from Monday to Friday, where we discuss Nigeria for more than an hour between myself, Archie, Frank, on the morning show. But on the Wednesday, what we look into is as many of what is happening in Nigeria. And like I said, we welcome those of you, sorry about that, those of you on the TikTok, we just have to get some things out again. So again, you might be joining me first time, and I say good evening and welcome. I say welcome once again.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Peter Obi could not get the best out of the judgment, but they are actually saying that we would have to announce the next move. But why are they going to announce the next move? The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, Pept'S, in Abuja today said Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peter Obi actually failed to prove that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was convicted of drug-related charges in the United States of America. Good evening to you, Joshua Adeyemi. Good evening, Mr. Adebanjo. Good evening, Oladele Olamilekan. Good evening to as many of you, Adewuse Wolabi. Good evening to all those of you on the TikTok. Good evening to those of you on the MixLR. Good evening to those of you that have joined us as well on the Instagram. And this is also the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Once again, in your car, you can listen to us. On your smartphone, you can listen to us. The 5-man panel led by Justice Aruna Tasamani ruled that no record of criminal arrest or conviction was established against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu by the petitioners. He also went further to say the petitioners failed to show evidence that the president was detained or convicted for any particular offense as alleged by the petitioners. The justice clarified that the fine imposed on Tinubu by a United States court was over a civil fortified proceeding.
UK.
Shout out to you, Alaja Adia Odewale, all the way in Aja, and I say Iya Igboho.
Radio UK. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide.
Also, this even as the court held that both Tinubu and the Vice President Kashima Shettima were also qualified, just as Peter Obi was qualified as well. My question now is, what is going to be the next move? We do not know what is going to be the final outcome of Atiku. Maybe Atiku and Tinubu will have to do a rerun, but it seems that Peter Obi have lost his petition against APC. It seems that tonight Peter Obi would have to go to bed with his team and review what is going to be their next move. I'll be telling you the reaction so far on the social media. But at exactly 6:45 p.m. tonight on the Star Radio UK network, if you listen to us from any African country, I can tell you that the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has now finally lost his petition against APC Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There is so much reaction. But what do you think? What is your take? For the benefit of those of you that are watching us on all the platforms, I want to read some of your comments. Steve said, how much did Bola Tinubu give to the judges? Do you think that the judges were paid? Let me read some of your comments in the comment section. Shout out to you, Ijaya. Shout out to you, Aziz. Adiremi Fatola, good evening to you and welcome, Lanre Lamina. Joshua says Yoruba Nation is the only final solution. Oladele Olamide can say Babawa Professor Banji Akintoye Ọlọ́run yóò fún yín ní ẹ̀mí gígùn. May God give you a long life. The article is still in progress. You know when you want to travel and they're telling you sit back, relax, as this flight is going to take 6 hours, 8 hours, and you'll be having a great time. So article judgment is not out as I speak to you right now. It is still ongoing. Whether we will be able to get the final update from Atiku or they might have to adjourn that till tomorrow. As I speak to you right now, Tribunal strike out the Labour Party case against Tinubu and they are currently reading Atiku's petition. Remember that this judgment has been going on since 9 o'clock in the morning, known as Pept'S, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. If you are not from Nigeria, you might be wondering, what do we mean by that? Remember that election was held in Nigeria on the 25th of February this year, 2023. The two candidates are challenging the current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over INEC decision to go ahead and make him the president when there are so many issues. And those issues have now been explained by the election tribunal. Wale say, we no see light, watch TV. What a bad country. Gawat Jubril says the proceeding, all issues were well stated. This is coming from Gawat Jubril, that believe that all the issues were clearly stated. So that means there is nothing to be concerned. The judges knew what they were doing. They had opportunity to give evidence to the judges. The judges have now looked at the evidence, and those evidence even went back to say that even Peter Obi have the right to contest, even though Peter Obi joined the Labour Party less than the days given by INEC. What is your take on all these? Semi Oluwa Bini says, good question. What is next for Peter Obi or the obedient movement? Remember that the Biafra were skeptical about Peter Obi joining the Labour Party since he could not get the presidential ticket. Was Atiku selfish for not allowing Peter Obi to become the presidential candidate and led to the mess that have now brought the two of them to challenge Bola Tinubu of the APC? Do you think that if Peter Obi and Atiku have joined the forces together, they might have defeated APC? Do you think that it was a waste of time? Okay, somebody say Gawat is from the politician crumbs. Don't mind him. He works for Lagos government, but he has his right. That is why we are here. We do not agree whether somebody is working for the government or not. My job is to read the comment, and your job is also to disagree with the views of every comment. That is why we say there is freedom of speech on Star Radio UK. I don't know who Gawat Jubril is, but I've now been told that Gawat Jubril is working. Gawat, maybe you might want to say something, because it says let's discuss like adult and educate people, please. Well, it seems that this is coming from somebody, from what I'm told. Nothing to comment again. Yoruba great man. Thank you so much. Keep the comment coming, and I'll be reading your comment, even if those comments might be something. But he's anti-Yoruba secessionist. Well, he's not the only one. We have many of them like that. So if Gawat does not believe in Yoruba Nation, I'm sure maybe it needs to be explained, updated, and given reason. And like we always say, we cannot differentiate if people do not believe in Biafra and the Arewa, but that does not mean that we that believe in it will become enemy to them, because we still want to live in the same country. There are so many Scottish people that disagree for the dissolution of Scotland from Great Britain. But what we are saying is that Bola Tinubu, that maybe you say, I don't know who Gawat is, I'm just reading the comment on TikTok, but what he's saying might be something that agrees with him based on somebody that believes in the political system in Nigeria, and that is his right. The fact is they can't get rid of this man called Tinubu. Yoruba Nation is the only way, but Tinubu also have a timeline. I have told you that Tinubu is currently in India, and I'll be telling you some of the businesses that he's already trying to bring back to Nigeria when it comes to billions of dollars contract that is currently being signed. I'll be telling you more about that as well. But right now, what do you think that Peter Obi should do? Go to the Supreme Court. The tribunal also uphold INEC authority and the discretion in the election result transmission. Remember, the INEC chairman came to UK and told us that the election result will be transmitted, and many Nigerians were waiting for that transmission, but it looks like that was never going to come true, just like MTN and Glo and the other network in Nigeria that get freeze all the time. One thing we got to understand is your case must be put in the front of the judges, and the Peter Obi had every opportunity. Remember that Atiku was trying to get Bola Tinubu result in America. I don't know what is going to be the outcome of his right now, but what I can say is that if we're still on the program up to the time that any information is coming from Atiku petition, I'll be telling you that. But let's go back to the 25%. Remember that, after the election, there was this 2 digit that was very important in discussion. 25%, 25%. To be honest with you, I do not understand and have a better understanding of what the 25% actually means. But all I can say that it seems that the Pept'S, which is the Presidential Election Tribunal, have now also given us something to work with. Once again, this is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. You might be a member of the PDP, you might be a member of the Labour Party, you might be a member of the APC. That is your fundamental human right, and that is the reason why we're also saying to our politicians, you must also respect the right of the Biafra and those agitating for the self-determination. It is not a crime, but it seems that our politicians are finding it very difficult to understand that. If it's all about democracy, we are no longer in the military era. During the military era, I remember there are certain things that the military will not allow you to do. But since that Nigeria has returned back to democracy, that democracy might have worked for some and might not work for some. But it seems that this is going to be the most challenge when it comes to the 25%. So what do I understand from the outcome of the election tribunal with this 25%? Once again, a very good evening and welcome. I can first say I am a proud Yoruba and Yoruba alone. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, Gawat is confirming that yes, I work with Lagos State government. Well, he has the right. If that is what he's doing, you cannot take it out. I do not know who the person is anyway. But one thing I have to say is let's come back to the conversation here. The conversation is 25% requirement. FCT not special than any other state. This is coming from the tribunal. How do you take every outcome of what is coming from Abuja? Do you think that that is going to be the end? Until we hear from Atiku's side, we do not know. Maybe there might be a rerun. I don't know. It is not just the presidential election that is being challenged. Also, 25 governorship election is being challenged as well. But the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has declared that the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, does not hold a higher status than any other state in the country. Do you think that 36 states plus FCT is just another state? It's just that they call it FCT. Justice Aruna, the lead judge of the 5-man panel, declared this during the tribunal sitting today in Abuja. He went further to talk about the fraudulent 1999 constitution that I do not agree with anyway. But that is the only constitution that is being used to judge the current presidential election tribunal. Maybe, quote and unquote, if we have had a better constitution, maybe the FCT would have been clearly declared as the 37th state. Even some of us believe that Benin Republic is the 37th state of Nigeria. Just like the Niger, why the Northerners are saying that the president should not attack Niger because Niger is almost the same like those Yoruba people that sometimes go into Benin Republic for business purposes, for visiting, for leisure, and sometimes when there's problem in Nigeria, you will definitely want to make your way to Benin Republic. Because if you remember that Minor also had to run to Niger after the Minor Gate issue. But according to section 13412 of the 1999 Constitution, I call it the military constitution. Some disagree with that. Some say that the 1999 Constitution is the same as the 1963 Constitution. But that Constitution have been biased to so many Nigerians. But this is what the judges are using because as amended, that is the only constitution in Nigeria today. But we know that around the world, constitution can be changed. Do you know that India is trying to change their name to Bharat? B-H-A-R-E-T. But it will have to go through a lot of rigorous process before they can change the word India. I was actually listening to that yesterday. But according to section 13412 of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended, you cannot amend something that is not proper. We never sat down together to bring out this constitution, but this constitution was accepted by the former president Obasanjo, the former president Jonathan, the late president Yaradua, the former president Muhammadu Buhari, and the current president Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It has stipulated that a presidential candidate must attain or score a majority of the vote cast in a presidential election where 2 or more candidates are involved. At least 25% in the 2/3 of the 36 states plus the FCT. to meet the constitution requirement to be declared as elected as the president of Nigeria. Peter Obi was pushing that narrative. I remember I was sitting here, reading as many of the articles, many analyses surrounding the 25%, but that 25% means nothing tonight because Peter Obi have now said, I will have to go back with my team and review this judgment because I, the Labour Party, are not accepting the judgment, and that is the latest at about 30 minutes ago from the team of the Labour Party have rejected the tribunal judgment. I am not a lawyer, so I do not have what the next step would be. We know that there's also evidence out there by the DSS. There are some individuals that are trying to destabilize the country. I know Peter Obi was saying just after the election, many people wanted to go out on the street. We saw Atiku mobilize the members of his team and they went out in the front of INEC office, but I never saw Peter Obi doing the same thing. Was there something that we don't know? What is your take on all these? Once again, I welcome those of you that have joined us. And if you're joining me for the first time at 1900 hours, which is a 25 hours clock or 24 hours clock, is the same thing like 7 p.m. We are running the same time with Nigeria until the weather goes back to where we have to put on the jacket. But right now you're listening to
UK. This is Star Radio UK. In your car,
At work.
at home,
On your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
in your car,
At work.
at home.
Let's take a look at some of the strong supporter of Peter Obi tonight. Aisha Yusuf is one of them. I saw her at the court. Neferati is one of them. We read a lot of Neferati here on the program, especially during the Star Radio UK. Does not mean that we cannot say exactly the views of the others. Everybody knows where we stand. We are the self-determination campaigner, and we have said it to the Yorubas on the ground that Bola Tinubu has only 4 years. We wish him all the best if the judgment stand with him. But what we are concerned is that what next after Tinubu? But that is a discussion for another day. But let me give you some of the tweets coming out from Aisha Yusuf. She's been tweeting continuously. Remember, she was part of the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls. That was how we knew more about Aisha. When you go on her Twitter handle, I do not do labels. I am me. I say it is it. My mom is my court. Nobody wins. You would either love me or hate me. That is life. Some people will love Koiki Media and some will not love Igboho. Why some will love Babaketoye and they might not love Igboho? I don't know how that is going to work. I'll be telling you everything you need to know when it comes from Turkey, as Ogunjimi Ijile, known as Marcos, put a strong allegation against Dr. Oloye Sunday Igboho that he is actually trying to bring weapon into Nigeria today to destabilize the election tribunal. This is coming from a man that says he's also a campaigner for the Yoruba Nation, but on the other side of Dupe Onitiri. Remember that we brought Dupe Onitiri in June on the Star Radio UK, but after we were able to be told by the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, of Professor Banja Kitoye, that we should do away from Dupe Onitiri, but it seems that Dupe Onitiri has a different agenda to the Yoruba Nation. Remember, it was the same set of people that attacked and wanted to hijack the radio station in Amuludun, also attacked a police station. We, the Yoruba campaigner, have never attacked the police station or the military barracks. She says she's bringing the interim government known as Adele, but last night on a program, Ijile, known as Ogunjimi Marcos, was saying that Igboho is trying to bring weapon. I'm going to come back to that at about 7:30 when we start to take you to the self-determination. But we are still discussing the PEP, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Shout out to those of you in Lagos State. I love those of you in Ogun State. Shout out to those of you in Ekiti, in Anambra, in Enugu, and any part of Nigeria tonight. But one thing is Nigeria truly going to survive all this? Let me take you back again as I started with which way Nigeria. How many of you remember that? That which way to go? Are you still one of those that love Nigeria? Let's listen again to Sonny Okosu.
Now have everything, why many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria. Nigeria will fall.
Do you think that we can save Nigeria so that Nigeria doesn't fall? Aisha Yusuf said 30 years and 3 months and 6 days. I have to give to Nigeria if God gives me that much. 9 years, 8 months and 28 days already given. She also went ahead 20 minutes ago. One day, a new generations of lawyers will change as the court pleases too, as long as it ensures justice. She also went further to say, really? So there was fear before, no wahala. We go meet at the Supreme Court, inshallah. Is Aisha telling us, because she's one of the, it's like somebody, if I say something on Yoruba Nation, they can easily tag it to Igboho or Babakitoye. Can we say now that the Supreme Court is where Labour Party will be heading to? Because she's actually responding to, because you lose in court, maybe, and she said, well, there was fear before, we will all meet at the Supreme Court. Mobolaji says, Nigeria, the zoo is gone. Let's listen again. Do you think that there's still a way out for Nigeria? Gold Fabric said, may God help our beloved country. It is actually bleeding. Well, once again, the question is, keep your comment coming. I know I've missed some of your comments. I will be reading them out as much as I have them. Prince Fatai said, what is Koiki saying? He should be talking about how Chief Sunday Igboho will be coming back home. Well, Igboho will come back home at the appropriate time. Igboho will not be the first person to live in exile. I'm sure you are aware of that. And if you're not aware of that, I can give you as many names of those that have lived in exile and they've returned back. And they've even become someone that have determined the narratives and the changes. So Igboho is doing very well. I can tell you that there's nothing to be concerned about. Again, what is the comment? Let me read some of your comments. Waris say, keep up the good work. Our #1 media station in Yoruba land. We love you. Also, I am a pro-Yoruba and Yoruba along. Keep the comment coming. I'll be reading them as well. Thank you so much for those of you. You have the right to your comment. I cannot stop that. Yes, if you want to know more about Igboho, maybe you want to sit back till 7:30 and I'll be telling you. Igboho has to be given a lift of the embargo by the government of today. Igboho hasn't committed any crime under international law, but I'll be telling you everything we need to know. That is coming from Aisha Yusuf. I am trying to see why I am trending and all I see is advert. Okay, you are trending because you are a member of the Labour Party. Once again, let's see what is trending as well. Let me look at what Nigerians are saying under some of the tweets. The tweet on this says, it's coming from the People's Gazette. The Court of Appeal decision that Mr. Shettima double nomination cannot be challenged by an opposing political party contradicts the position of the Supreme Court. In February 2020, they invalidated the election of David Loin as the Bayelsa State Governor because his running mate, Bio Barukuma Digi, was not properly nominated due to defect in his name on the official record. Now, this is what people are saying. Contradiction, a concocted of what? I am the Lordship pronouncement. So many Nigerians will be reading this outcome in different meaning. Some will agree and some will not agree. But one thing I can say is that it seems somebody said Tinubu is a thief. Got a lot of discussion there. Aziz says, Star Radio UK, good afternoon to every one of you. Good afternoon to you in Miami. The weather is still very humid outside there, and I'd like to welcome every one of you. So right now, there's nothing much coming from Atiku's side. So we would have to wait maybe for the more. If there's any information I need to share with you, I'll be doing so. as we are still looking at some of the outcome of these election tribunal, you can see the images behind you. Those of you watching us on the Star Radio UK website and Twitter and wherever you're watching us on the sister broadcast as well. That is when the judges were coming in this morning. And, to be honest with you, it's just about 2 hours that will actually make it 12 hours that the judges have been sitting down, discussing everything. And there was a bit of tension, during the court proceeding. And that tension went like this.
My Lord, sir, I'm very sorry again, sir. Even if your lordships are going to say, your brethren are going to say their piece later on, sir, at least you all, my Lord, you all should be rested by saying it is either dismissed or is allowed. I was wondering if your lordship would not put a pronoun that is dismissed. So that,
what are you saying?
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be confused, sir. I've listened to your lordship's eloquent judgment.
Sorry, please, let us senior. You don't have to interrupt judgment. We are delivering judgment and we are still on. Please leave the judgment where it is.
My Lord, I'm very sorry, sir.
If you are well, somebody's asking, have they ended the court proceeding for today? Not as I can confirm yet. There is still ongoing. Sometimes, this could go into late hours. But right now, all we are waiting for is the Atiku petition against Bola Tinubu. Already, Peter Obi has lost out from the election tribunal. That is all I can confirm from the information coming out from Abuja. And that is also confirming what the Labour Party said about an hour ago. On the breaking news, the Labour Party have rejected the tribunal. But what you are actually listening to was part of what was going on in the court proceeding while the judgment was being read. There was an interruption by a senior advocate of Nigeria known as Charles Unusuyu Edosumwa for interrupting the court proceeding. Let's listen once again, and then we'll start looking at some of the headline. And in 20 minutes, we switch straight to everything we need to know on the self-determination. As I said, there's something coming out, and it seems Nnamdi Kanu is just the time bomb in the hands of those that kidnap him and rendition him back.
My Lord, sir, I'm very sorry again, sir. Even if your lordships are going to say, your brethren are going to say their piece later on, sir, at least you all, my Lord, you all should be rested by saying it is either dismissed or is allowed. I was wondering if your lordship would not put a pronoun that is dismissed. So that,
what are you saying?
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be confused, sir. I've listened to your lordship's eloquent judgment.
Sorry, please, let us senior. You don't have to interrupt judgment. We are delivering judgment and we are still on. Please leave the judgment where it is.
My Lord, I'm very sorry, sir.
If you are confused when you get the judgment, you read it.
No, my Lord, I'm not confused at all.
Okay, then please.
I'm making a suggestion.
You don't have to suggest to us how to deliver judgment.
I'm sorry.
So you seriously think that all five of us wouldn't know that? Wouldn't know what you want?
My Lord, I apologize. My Lord, I apologize. Who would love to be a lawyer? I mean, I've never wanted to be one. Sorry, we can't bring anybody in. For those of you sending a request, we still a live transmission on the Star Radio UK network. You might have to wait a little bit. Maybe later on, if there's room for us to bring anybody in to speak to us, we might do that. Okay, maybe we should do that so that you're not thinking we are unfair. All right, let's allow 2 people from the Twitter, 3 from TikTok. And if you're going to call in as well, the number is going to be, please, when you call in, remember that this is a live transmission. There will not be any swearing. You will have to give your statement without, making any foul languages. We do not tolerate that on the Star Radio UK. But I can allow you to call in and give us your own view quickly. So what I'm going to do straight away, just go straight to the point. When I bring you in, we start with the Twitter space where we have somebody that has made a request. Go straight on Solomon, and those of you that wants to call in as well, I will allow that so that at least till 7:30, as much as what we can take. If you want to send a request as well, please send a request. Steve also went on to say already Tinubu gave them money to those judges. Okay, Nigeria is a joke. Go ahead, Solomon, on the Twitter space. You've sent a request. I'm going to allow you to speak for just 2 or a minute and a half. Go straight to the point. Good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK.
All right.
Loud and clear, we can hear you, sir.
I was going to the because I know people like you that I don't know why people are even pregnant. When they contested for the election, they didn't do anything. I was expecting that would be a mass protest that the election is, and then we are there sitting in France, waiting for the people who get stable. I think whatever that people that because our people are cowards, so they are not ready for the population. So I knew it would be like this. Okay, that's the one that you need to, but already we know who people and it's not like people and which is living in China. It's not a surprise to me.
Okay, you said you knew that it was going to be like this. Are you a seer? Are you a spiritually man that knows that this is how it's going to be, or you are just also following the proceeding of how things are, running in Nigeria? I'll give you.
This is the way things are being run in Nigeria.
Okay.
People that are smart will understand that Nigeria is not a country.
Okay.
Nigeria was formed by criminality and every person out. There was nothing we could start from that place. Until the people rise and fight against the government and get the justice, nothing will be there. Not there.
Okay.
So I'm not a proper seer, but I'm just following the story of Nigeria from the beginning. Only Nigeria, nothing good comes out.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you so much. You can still stay there. If there's more room, I'll bring you back in. Again, I'll allow 2 more from the TikTok if you want to speak to me. I think there's another request coming through, if I'm right. Yes, I did promise 2 from the Twitter space. Let's take the next one. If you want to call in, the number is the studio line. You know the number is +44 74 04 now. But please let us understand that this is a Star Radio UK. It's not my own. I'm sure you understand what I mean. And again, because of the ethics. So let us please try to the word that we're going to be using. Go ahead, Mr. Moses. I'm going to bring you in as well. And then if there's no more calls, then we move forward with the program. And I'll be telling you more of what Tinubu is doing in India, because it looks like the investors might be coming to Nigeria. I don't know. Go ahead, Mr. Moses, on the Twitter space.
All right, thank you, Koiki Media, for giving me this opportunity to meet everyone. Actually, I will just tell you what do we expect from the models of democracy. She wants people who believe in one Nigeria. She wants people who believe that they will get the right judgment from the kangaroo courts that exists in Nigeria. Come on, everyone. Definitely, we have to come together as one people, as one nation, to decide if we really want this country to work. A lot of blood have been shed, people have died. We're not talking about that. We have been murdered. But in this day, Imo State, somebody from the 4th division was made the governor. Everybody get quiet. So they've watched that the people have been wicked. And they keep pushing the foot to the wall, waiting for people to react. So what do? We need a self-referendum, bring everybody to come and decide the kind of country we want. Until we get this straight. This is how we keep going up with that.
In 2020.
Things are the mountains of democracy. We're not practicing any democracy in Nigeria. Nigeria is the days of arrival.
You actually, I want to go back to 2 out of your point. What do we expect from democracy? Are you saying that Nigeria is not practicing democracy? That's the first question. You talked about the kangaroo court. Why do you think that is a kangaroo court? And the last one is, a lot of blood have been shed. How do we resolve the issues now that we know that so many blood has been shed across the country? You have another minute and a half. Go ahead, Mr. Moses. And thank you so much to all our Twitter space listeners.
How we practice democracy? When Nnamdi Kanu was by the court allowed to go, but he's been held in detention. Is that democracy? How we practicing democracy with the drug leader with 45 cases in the US? They are all there on record before the international community.
Okay, let me get that angle. But the judges have the judges have disagreed hold on, Mr. Moses. But the judges tonight have disagreed that, the president was not of any crime that has been alleged of him. I mean, that is what the election tribunal is saying. Do you agree with that, or is there something that is, skeptical around that?
Of course. Absolutely skeptical about that. What is a judgment? Fortification is a judgment. When you fortify it, why can't you go and claim money? Why did you fortify his money for watching something here and you forgot about it? Why can't you go to the United States of America? These are questions we need to answer. There's a question we need to answer.
All right.
So you don't need someone to be behind bars before you the person that's convicted.
Okay. And the other one is you talked about a lot of blood have been shed. What is the way forward? We saw the Rwanda genocide. A lot of Rwandans have now started living by peace on each other. Are Adegoke said the solution to Nigeria separation. Chelsea attack said it was a civil case, not a criminal case. So people are also challenging you that was a civil case. It was not a criminal case. Also, I think that's all I can pick from the TikTok. We are responding to some of your questions. Keep it out. I'll bring it out as well, even if it's something that might not be favorable to many other listeners as well. Because we have the Biafra on the line. We have the Yorubas. We have the Nigerians. We have APC. We have OBD. We have, I say OBD. We have Peter Obi. We have Atiku. But right now, Tinubu Chicago drug dealing 45 baseless because it was banned from entering the U.S. The appeal court ruled. This is another article coming from People's Gazette. Let me come back again to you, Mr. Moses. A lot of blood have been shed. What can be done to reduce the bloodshed moving forward in Nigeria?
Well, we have to tell ourselves the truth. Nigeria was designed to fail. Nigeria is the company. That is what it is.
Okay.
The people of Nigerians and the over 250 ethnic group never came together to decide the kind of country we want.
Okay.
Jonathan tried it.
Okay.
It's on record. Let's go and pick up those documents. What did they say? In Nigeria, we came in 2014. It was an agreement.
Okay.
But we're not following it.
Okay.
And when we come to this, the more it's going to happen.
No,
it's just like 100 days in office over.
All right. Okay.
People use maybe for them to shoot down a helicopter or whatever. And over 10 military men died just less than 100 days in office. So this happened.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
You want to think after the Nigerian military.
Okay.
So a lot of things are going on.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, if you want to call into the program as well, you'll be able to call in, because at exactly 9 minutes, I have to go straight into the conversation of the self-determination. There's a lot happening between those that are agitating, and there's so much that we need to share as well. Adekoke went on to say, what can be done to stop the bloodshed in Nigeria is to separate. But some Nigerians do not agree that Nigeria needs to separate. That is where the problem is, because some say we must remain Nigeria as much as there is going to be a new Nigeria. I am not one of those that believe that there's a new Nigeria. Again, if you like the kind of outfit that I'm putting on, this is being, put on us by a very beautiful designer called Omitaf Culture, where you can get a bespoke tailoring, Ashwebi, custom made, Owambe, kids wear. Fashion training is also available for anyone that wants to know how to, cut and sew. So if you're interested in that, you can check them out on their Instagram page, Omitaf Culture, which the link has been shared for the benefit of those of you that are watching us tonight. You are still listening to the Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Every Wednesday, we bring to you what is happening in Nigeria, and likewise as so many other stories. There's a story that is coming out to me that a couple, there are fracas happening in America, and then led to the death of one of them or something of such. I have to review that and bring that back to you. But there's so much happening with the diaspora as well, as many Nigerians are struggling outside the country. But it seems that the president says that. The president says that I'm doing everything to revive the Nigeria economy. Do you think so? What also is the British government member of parliament saying when it comes to Nnamdi Kanu? If you've just joined the program, the Labour Party, I can now say to you, have lost their election petition against Bola Tinubu at the Petition Tribunal today.
Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
in your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone. The best radio show. The best radio show.
You can also catch up with me every Monday to Friday as I give updates of what is happening around the world with the Nigerian diaspora and the self-determination between 11 o'clock in the morning when I join the morning show with Archie and Frank. Once again, thank you so much to my producer, Mr. Archie, and as many of you that have joined us this evening, I say thank you so much. Fire in one to say hi, I say hi to you as well. Now, as we are moving away from what is happening in Abuja, I do not have any update yet from Atiku, but if those update comes in, I'll be telling you as much as what I know. But for now, it seems that we will have to wait a little bit to find out what Atiku versus Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Those from Peter Obi tonight are now saying about an hour ago, the Labour Party reject the tribunal judgment. Tonight on the Star Radio UK officially, we can now confirm that the Labour Party have lost their petition. Was it worth it? Or was Peter Obi a failure? Obi failed to prove INEC refusal to promptly upload result. That is also part of what the tribunal are saying. Again, $460,000 forfeiture. Obi and the Labour Party failed to prove Tinubu was a convicted drug lord or whatever you might want to say. This is coming from the tribunal. I know some of you might disagree with that. Why are we not getting enough from the NLC? The NLC ends one need strike, says significant strike achieved. It seems that the NLC are doing the same like Europe. You go out for 2 days, you take away some break. Maybe that is in good rather than going for a full indefinite strike. The Labour Party have rejected the tribunal judgment and they'll be announcing the next move. Joe says all the ballot box they presented in the court with the emoji of smile. You are not a very good man. That was a evidence, but it seems that those evidence is not working from what we know. So I don't have any information on what we can say from Peter Obi, from Atiku, but I have the next one that I want to talk about. I was following a member of parliament here in UK. It seems that the case of Nnamdi Kanu has become, the time bomb in Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped. We know that. Brought back 2 years ago, still in the DSS custody. But the question is, as a British citizen, why has the British government not make much move for the release of Nnamdi Kanu? Was this deliberate, or was the British government reviewing as much behind the closed door that we don't know? Nnamdi Kanu case has been going on for a very long time. And the image behind you, I'll be telling you a little bit more for those of you that are watching us on the Star Radio UK tonight. The image of the member of parliament, I'll be revealing what she has said when it comes to Nnamdi Kanu just less than 48 hours ago right here in the UK. Once again, a very good evening to many of you that have joined us, and welcome to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. 7:28 p.m. or 19:28 p.m. the 6th day of September 2023. Her name is Maria Rima. Who is she and what do we know about her? Like I said, 48 hours ago, she was actually speaking with her colleagues. She's a member of parliament for St. Helens, South and Winston, Labour and Saint. She was speaking about Nnamdi Kanu 48 hours ago. What was she saying? We know that Nnamdi Kanu case is still a test of time that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is avoiding. Do you think that the new government will be able to come into reality that the court, the same court that is giving a very good side to Bola Tinubu right now, do you think that that will continue as well? According to the member of the parliament, which the video is still being worked on, she went further to say that Nnamdi Kanu, a British citizen, he wasn't traveling with a Nigerian passport. You might not agree with Nnamdi Kanu's view, or you might also accuse him of many crimes. But one thing is, you should be able to prove that at the court. The court in Nigeria today, as of today, have acquitted every allegation against Nnamdi Kanu, but the DSS seems not to be satisfied to allow Nnamdi Kanu out of the custody. Why do you think that? Do you think that there is some kind of hidden agenda to keep Nnamdi Kanu in the prison and then destabilize the Biafra? But we know that that is also having a big impact, because every Monday the Southeast is shut down. Some few weeks ago there was a total lockdown for 3 weeks. But as we continue to look up to what this government is going to do differently from the hatred of the former president that decided that because his tweet was removed, he decided to shut down the old Twitter for many Nigerians. So many Nigerians are facing many difficulties traveling through the Southeast on a Monday. But the government in exile of the Biafra are now saying that on the 18th, should Nnamdi Kanu not be released, we'll be going on a more lockdown. But let us listen to Maria Rima. Like I said, Maria Rima is a member of parliament here in UK that decided to speak against the injustice. And like we say, injustice to one would always be injustice to all. You might say that it has nothing to do with you because you are not member of the Biafra. Or you might also be a Yoruba or even an Igbo or Hausa and say, I care less. I have talked about Daddy Yati. Up to now, 3 years down the line, nobody knows where Daddy Yati is, dead or alive. Maria Elizabeth Rima, CBE, is a British Labour Party that is now asking the Conservative, why are we not doing much on the case of Nnamdi Kanu? And this is how she said this less than 48 hours ago. Let's listen to that. And again, this is Star Radio UK. This is Maria.
2021, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, a British citizen, was abducted by Nigerian security forces in Nairobi, Kenya. Since his detention, he has been subjected to torture and many other unpleasantries. A United Nations Rights Council report released damning assessment of Nigeria's government's treatment and called for his immediate release. My right honourable friend from Camberwell and Peckham has worked tirelessly on behalf of Mr. Kanu and is urging the Foreign Secretary to do more to secure his release. Nigeria is a Commonwealth nation that receives tens of millions in UK aid. It is one of the biggest benefactors of aid. Part of this aid support must be a commitment to human rights and upholding the right to fair trials. Mr. Kanu must be given access to a fair and due process. A British citizen travelling on the British passport should not be kidnapped in a third country and dragged to a Nigerian prison. The government needs to get much tougher.
I'm going to play that again in just about a few minutes. But some of what she has said there Maybe you want to respond to that, and I can bring you in as well. I can allow you, and some of the comment coming as well this morning or this evening, depending on wherever you're watching us, because it's already morning somewhere in New Zealand and Japan. They are already in the morning. So when I say good morning, I'm right to say so. But right now in UK, it's good evening. Mrs. Fatima said, good afternoon, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Allah continue to guide you, inshallah. I say amen. Spy Rob Top said, nonsense judiciary. They are already bought and sold to the highest bidder. Is referring back to the outcome of the judicial review or the tribunal of the election tribunal. Unapologetic one says, so the DSS is more powerful than the country. And this is where many of us say, we can't continue in this trajectory. We now have a new government, so we expect democracy to function and work. Is Bola Tinubu going to respect the rule of law? Why is the Labour member of parliament speaking and challenging the conservative government against the secure of the release of Nnamdi Kanu, a British passport holder that was not traveling with the Nigerian passport? Like I said, you don't have to agree with Nnamdi Kanu's view, or you might even accuse him of all the atrocity that is happening in the southeast, but only the same court, just as the deliverer of the justice to the APC that is happening tonight, only the court have the right to determine when someone is accused or brought into the court. Just like we saw, we were able to pin down Ike Keremadu in UK based on evidence, and he was charged to court. I was at the proceeding of the court outside. I saw many of his colleagues and friends that flew from Nigeria. We even saw the former president Obasanjo writing to the British government to tamper with justice against Ike Ikeremadu. But that did not make any impact. The judges reviewed what was in their evidence between the court and the judge, and they were able to look into it, just like justice is being served tonight against Peter Obi and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So the question I'm asking this present administration is, are you going to allow the rule of law to apply on the case of Nnamdi Kanu, or should we just say that it is still going to be the banana republic, as many of you have called it tonight? Should we say that the government will apply rule of law so that even if the court believe that Nnamdi Kanu was a criminal, then only the court has the right to sentence? But what we can confirm tonight is that the court has actually acquitted Nnamdi Kanu. But yet, the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not said much. He has actually kept mute. Do you think that there will be peace in Nigeria? Good evening to you, Mr. Ademi. Do you think that we can ever get a peace with the current state of situation that Nnamdi Kanu, a British citizen, rendition and kidnapped from Kenya to Nigeria? Good evening to you, Grandma Lee Ajayi went to say Yoruba Nation is the only solution and is unstoppable. We are now in that last hour of the program discussing the right of the indigenous people. We are looking at the right of Nnamdi Kanu that has now been kind of, not respected. Do you think that this administration will not take the same toll with Buhari? Olatunji went out to say that everybody go chop breakfast very soon. Do you still believe that Nigeria judiciary system is fair on Nigerians? Remember that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was also at some point living in UK on exile after Abacha, the former late military dictator, wanted to kill him. UK allowed Bola Tinubu to live, eat, work, even operate as his organization, as long as he wasn't doing anything against the law. So we now again move swiftly to Dr. Oloye Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. Igboho has been led out of Nigeria, not because of his wish, because the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, gave the go-ahead to kill him at his house, just as Buhari wanted to kill Nnamdi Kanu in 2017. The mission failed. Nnamdi Kanu fled out of Nigeria. We surfaced back in Israel, and the rest again was kidnapped by Buhari. Remember that Buhari has made much attempt to kidnap before. Maybe some of you are not aware of that history. Umaru Diko was almost kidnapped and caged back on the Nigerian Airways from London to Lagos, but that was stopped here in UK. But the Kenya facilitate the torture of a British passport holder. Let's listen again one more time, and I want you to take note of everything that the member of parliament was saying, because remember that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was also allowed to operate in UK, just as Igboho is currently in Benin Republic. But it seems that someone is trying to continue to bring strong allegation against Dr. Sunday Igboho. I'll be telling you more about that, but stay tuned right now. It is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's listen one more time to Maria Rima. She's a member of the parliament here in UK. You will call them senator in Nigeria. Apologetic went on to say, what role did Kenya play in the adoption? Well, according to the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu, the Kenya authority knew that Nnamdi Kanu was in the country, and all they did was assisted the federal government for that adoption, rendition, and kidnap. Idowu Michael, thank you so much and welcome to the program. Now, let's listen one more time, and I want you to take note. Remember, she said something. Should we now say to the UK government, you must now stop the aid between Nigeria and United Kingdom. The aid that we are sending to Nigeria can no longer continue because we expect the Nigerian government to respect human rights and rule of law. But it seems that that is not happening. Igbesantoyin, thank you so much and welcome to the program. Omobalaji Abdullahi. My question again is, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, before he was the president, was here in UK. The UK government allowed to leave and survive until he was able to return back to Nigeria after the death of the former dictator Sani Abacha. Let's listen one more time.
21, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, a British citizen, was abducted by Nigerian security forces in Nairobi, Kenya. Since his detention, he has been subjected to torture and many other unpleasantries. A United Nations Rights Council report released damning assessment of Nigeria's government's treatment and called for his immediate release. My right honourable friend from Camberwell and Peckham has worked tirelessly on behalf of Mr. Kanu and is urging the Foreign Secretary to do more to secure his release. Nigeria is a Commonwealth nation that receives tens of millions in UK aid. It is one of the biggest benefactors of aid. Part of this aid support must be a commitment to human rights and upholding the right to fair trials. Mr. Kanu must be given access to a fair and due process. A British citizen travelling on the British passport should not be kidnapped in a third country and dragged to a Nigerian prison. The government needs to get much tougher.
Well, we've had from the member of parliament, and I think we must give her an applaud. What kind of applaud? We must give her an applaud for coming out to speak against the injustice. Shout out to those of you in Woolwich, Triple DRS. Shout out to Kunle Baker. Shout out to Ijaya. Shout out to Comrade and all the comrades across those that are agitating for the right to self-determination. Once again, this is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. At work,
At home,
on your smartphone.
in your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
in your car,
At work,
at home.
on your smartphone.
Now, let's come to Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. Many even believe that Igboho has run out of Nigeria and is no longer one of the members of the Yoruba Nation campaigner. Let me reiterate again. Let me state clearly. Igboho has never said at any point that he is no longer a member of a peaceful movement to the right of the Yoruba Nation, to the right of the indigenous people, just like so many other countries around the world are asking for the same right. Oloye, Dr. Igboho will not be the first human being on the planet to be on exile. Bola Tinubu was on exile for many years in UK, where he was living comfortably well under the British government. Igboho is currently enjoying the same immunity in Benin Republic. And the reason why is given that opportunity is just the same reason Bola Tinubu, as a then before the president today, also said in an article in London that he does not believe in Nigeria. Igboho has said the same thing, and he has stood and remained firm on such. I know some of us are asking, when is he going to get his freedom back? Or maybe he should beg Bola Tinubu, the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, even as a Yoruba man. We have stated clearly and continuously have to state it that Igboho has not committed any crime against humanity. Igboho has not committed crime against the federal government of Nigeria as of today. What we have seen is that the government of the previous government of President Muhammadu Buhari, the same way he had the hatred for the indigenous people of the Biafra, he has the same hatred for the Yorubas. We saw that because in his appointment, he actually marginalized as many Yorubas. The former President Muhammadu Buhari kept his own clan of people within the government. We know that Bola Tinubu is doing the same thing, and these could not work in a country that has 351 ethnic people. If you really want to have a system that will work, it will not happen in a country like Nigeria. Some have argued that Nigeria is not the only country that has multiple different ethnic people. But the reason why the amalgamation that was forced on us in 1914 is the reason why today that Igboho is standing firm. As much as many people want him to be coming out to speak, Igboho does not have to come and speak, since he has the media around him, from the Yoruba world media, the home-based media, and likewise, as I remain his spokesman. But what many people want is the same thing Igboho was doing prior, before he was almost assassinated and killed. 2 people died in his house on July 1st, 2021. Almost 10 people were moved into the DSS custody for a very long weeks. Eventually, we were able to get them out through the legal means. But today, Igboho is still in Benin Republic. And the reason for such is because the president of Muhammadu Buhari, under Peter Afunaya, the DSS spokesman, said after the invasion at about 10:05 that Igboho is now a wanted person that must now come to the custody. We knew that Igboho fled. Some have even pointed finger that why did he have to run away? Because he was not going to confront the military that came into the house. He does not have to do so. So the only thing he could do was to make sure he find his way out. Even some are asking, how did he do that? That remained between him and his creator. But what we know is that not just only 2 people were murdered, their bodies have not been returned till today. These are close friends to Dr. Oloye Sunday Igboho. We are talking about Adogon that has a wife and a mother. Adogon in the image is the one on the left-hand side. He was actually traveling and had a stopover. at Dr. Igboho's residence in Soka, Oyo State, Nigeria. He was murdered by the Nigeria military. These are not unknown soldiers. Afunaya confirmed that they went into Igboho's house on incredible intelligence that Igboho was trying to stockpile arms and fight the government. That, according to Professor Wale Soyinka, with all the evidence that was presented to the media, was cock and bull. But it seems that Igboho was a target, but his uncle, Alhaji Fatai, was murdered. He had an eyesight problem. He was preparing to pray. He did not realize that there's ongoing incident at Igboho's residence house in Soka. The DSS, when they came out, said these two wanted to fight back. These two cannot even handle weapon. This again is the injustice that continue to happen in Nigeria. And those of us that are asking that should we remain in Nigeria, you cannot even get a restructured Nigeria. Remember, they had the confab in 2014. That has been thrown out of the box, as many people could not even be given the right to restructure of the country. We are running on a fraudulent federalism. Remember that what we got during the independence was known as a regional government that was destroyed. Today, we do not have regional government. What we have is we have fat cows politicians that have now become a burden. Somebody like the former governor of Kebbi State, Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, that has been siphoning money on behalf of the late dictator Sani Abacha. Do you know that Bagudu decided to make a negotiation with the federal government of Nigeria after the refund of some of the stolen wealth of the Nigeria wealth? So today, I am asking, what is the new British High Commissioner, Dr. John Montgomery, going to be doing on the case of Nnamdi Kanu? What is the reason why this particular woman that came into the movement with all kind of lies, I'm talking about Dupe Onitiri. Dupe Onitiri came into the movement just a year ago, and she has been one of the most biased individuals on the planet. She does not want to be questioned. She does not want to be asked reason for what she's doing. Even if she's on the right track, she does not want to be questioned at all. That is not a true leader. But what happened yesterday on a program where Dr. Igboho was accused by Ogujimi Marcus, known as Ijile Marcus Media, presented to his listeners within the confine of the YouTube, that Igboho was preparing ammunition distributed to many Yoruba people to confront the outcome of the Pept'S result today. We know that Ijile is not working on his own. Ijile is working on the directive of this particular woman known as Dupe Onitiri. It's sad that she has a motive to destroy Igboho and Baba Akintoye, Professor Adebanji Akintoye. She failed so many times, but it seems that she's still after these two individuals. Allegations upon allegations were laid against these two individuals in the movement for the right to Yoruba Nation. I will open the phone line for another 10 minutes for those of you that would like to engage on the right to self-determination. But my question is, what does she want to gain through Ijile to destroy Igboho and Baba Akintoye? We know that if there's nothing behind it, she would have stopped. But it seems that there's more to it. We are using this opportunity again on the Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. This is.
We're telling the world again, we are not terrorists harming individuals to fight the government, but we are asking under the right of an inalienable right to self-determination. We are putting it on record again today that whatever operation that Dupe Onitiri, known on that name, Adija, that lives somewhere in number 9, Adeniran Busoya, Surulere, Lagos State, whatever our agenda has nothing to do with those of us that are asking for the right to self-determination. She has given assurance to some Yorubas that an interim government will be coming in place very soon in Yoruba land, in the southwest of Nigeria. We don't know when that is going to happen, but that is what she's saying. She was also one of those that sent individuals to attack the radio station on the 28th of May this year at Amuludun FM Ibadan, and also the burning of the police station in Lagos State. And the evidence to such was told during another program around May 28 this year, when Ijile Marcos or Ogunjimi stated clearly by this.
Ayé àlàáfíà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá wa. Ṣẹlẹ̀ tó yẹ pé tó fẹ́ra rẹ̀ tó wà ní mídíà ó takò rẹ̀ títí.
Breaking news. Yoruba Nation take over Radio Ibadan. Breaking news. Yoruba Nation want to take over Radio Ibadan.
Good! Thank you, Lord!
Hallelujah. So, ọmọ Yorùbá á sọ fún yín o, ẹ dìde. Ẹ jáde o. Àsìkò ti tó fún iṣẹ́. Ẹ jáde o. Ẹ pé àwọn èèyàn yín níbikíbi tí wọ́n bá wà. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, wípé kán dìde àsìkò ti tó. We need to take over our land. Àsìkò ti tó láti gba ilẹ̀ bàbá wa. Àjádùn o, àfọ wàhálà. Ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ṣe sọ fún ọ wípé ìjọba délé wọ́n ń bọ̀, ṣàsìkò náà ti tó. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ dìde.
That was the announcement that Ogunjimi Marcos Ijile brought onto the screen, that they've actually hijacked the radio station. Just after that, Dupe Onitiri's name was not mentioned by the media in Nigeria as the one behind these radio hijack. 2 names were brought forward. Those 2 names today are the relevant names that the federal government and the international community are aware of. And that is the leader of the Yoruba self-determination movement under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye. His name was mentioned as the person that gave the go-ahead to the hijack of the radio station in Ibadan. It came out, and that was debunked. Just like we are saying again tonight, if the interim government of this Dupe Onitiri is being planned, it has nothing to do with the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye. We will continue in the quest to self-determination through diplomacy, negotiation, rallies, as those rallies are now ready. Rally will be held this month, and that rally will start at the New York at the United Nations General Assembly that is coming up this year. And from there, we will also continue to use every means within the legal framework, both within and outside the country, to self-determination. Let's listen to this. I'm coming back again. Once again, good evening and welcome as we continue to bring to you every information that we need to know when it comes to the right to self-determination. The Yoruba people want to exit Nigeria, but we will not be tagged as terrorist organization. We know that the same was what the federal government wanted to portray the IPOB, and that led to the federal government proscribing the indigenous people of Biafra. But we know definitely that the international community did not accept that IPOB is an international terrorist organization. And that is a fact, and that fact remains there. As much as the federal government might not be pleased with that fact, the fact must remain that IPOB is not an international terrorist organization. And just as the Yoruba is not also a terrorist organization, but we must continue to warn those that are planning, those that are using the Yoruba Nation to portray us as international criminals. We would continue to say that we are not international criminals. Our right will be respected, and that right will not derail us. We will not do exactly what Duke Bonitiri wants us to do. She's trying something, and whatever she's trying, we failed, because her motives and the agenda that she has in place would definitely not work. Bear with us, those of you on the TikTok. So, as we are now coming towards the last half an hour of the program, I would also give room for one or two conversations from our listeners on all the platforms. Once again, remember, we are not going to allow certain words due to the fact of this transmission of the ethics of the conversation. Let me go back again to the Twitter space, and I guess we have, I still have with me Solomon. If you want to have one or two words on the last conversation, I will let you come through. And those of you that would like to call in as well, I will bring you in as well. And once again, as many of you that continue to comment, Pastor Mo says, this guy called Ogunjimi Marcos is dull and is also very dubious. If you want to say something, you can raise your hands. I will bring you in. If otherwise, I will just leave you and we will continue. Once again, for the benefit of those of you that have joined us, you're listening to the Star Radio UK network.
This is Star Radio UK. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
in your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
The best radio show. The best radio show.
Well, it is the best radio show. There's the African community. Let's listen to this, and you might want to start understanding why Africa is lacking behind in terms of development.
None of you can deny that what I'm saying is the truth. You know it's the truth. But either you won't write it, or you're too cowardly to speak it, because you want some favor here or favor there. So because you can't talk, you are muzzled. I'm not. I'm a free black man. And I didn't come here looking for a handout. And I really don't think you need one. Your problem is that you think you need a handout. Everything you need is right under your foot, but you looking everywhere else for help instead of to yourself and what you can produce for yourself. This is Africa's dilemma. You are parading yourself before the world as international beggars when you gave civilization to the world. Your problem is not America. Your problem is not Israel. Your problem is not Britain. Your problem is your disunity and your dependence on others to do for you what you could do for yourself. So I don't have to come back here anymore to help you. The help is already here. The knowledge is already here. The land is here. The sun is here. The water is here. The minerals are here. You have some of the finest minds in the world, but they're in Europe and they're in America making money while Africa suffers. Why don't we create politically stable environment and call the children of Africa back home to help build Africa? We are your children, and we will come and help. But don't expect us to come with billions of dollars when we don't have it. We're struggling in America, but you got it all right here under your foot. And you should be ashamed not to look to yourself, begging white folk to give you what you could give yourself. What I said today, which one of these countries is going to give you $20 million? America's not going to give you $20 million. You got it right here. But your disunity won't allow you to pool it. It's your fault. And you got to accept that responsibility. That is why my message is atonement, reconciliation, and responsibility. We got to stop blaming everything on somebody else and see what is our responsibility.
Wow. I don't know how you've been able to take that. We know that Atiku and Peter Obi were not at the courts today. But some of the news that I want to share with us, Fayemi, the former governor of Ekiti, has now come out to probably apologize to Nigerians. The subsidy removal protest under the former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was all politics. This is coming from Fayemi. A former governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, yesterday described as politically the 2012 Occupy Nigerian protest against petrol subsidy removal moved by the then administration of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Fayemi actually spoke when he delivered a keynote address during the 60th birthday celebration of the founding National Secretary of the Alliance for Democracy and the fellow Abuja School of Social and Political Thought, Professor Undata in Abuja. Fayemi actually went to say, "Today, I read former President Olusegun Obasanjo's interview in the Cable saying our liberal democracy is not working. We need to revisit it, and I agree with him. We must move from political alternatives. I think we are almost on the dead end of that." This is what Fayemi said. What we need is alternative politics. And my own notion of alternative politics is that you can't have 35% of the vote and take 100%. It won't work. We must look at the proportional representation so that the party that is said to have won 21% of the vote will have 21% of the government advisory politics, bring division and immunity. All political parties in the country agreed, and they even put it in their manifesto, that subsidy must be removed. We all said subsidy must be removed. We in the Action Congress of Nigeria, as at the time, in 2012, we know the truth, but it is all politics. And this is what they are doing with Nigerians. They are actually playing politics with many Nigerians. And this is why some of us are saying it is time that you also participate at the upcoming event at the United Nations General Assembly, and hopefully maybe next week we might bring in one of their campaigner to come and speak to us on that particular event.
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Do we now say that many Yoruba and the Biafra or the Igbos, the Hausa, are playing politics with many of us? We are just 12 minutes before the end of the program. I'll be telling you the reaction of many Nigerians when it comes to the outcome of the Pept'S. And it seems that Peter Obi has lost out already. Once again, this is an advert for the upcoming Yoruba Nation mega rally in America. Bear with us. I think there is a freeze on the network there. I think, and I'm back there on the screen. And now let's listen to that.
Yorùbá wà lọ̀rọ̀ ìkàn pátápátá la ṣe ń lọ gbọ́ ẹ̀tàn tantan sétí ọmọ aládé gbogbo nígbàgbọ́ wípé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń gbọ́ lẹ́yìn náà mọ̀ sọ fún àwọn yòókù kárí ilé kárí oko tí gbogbo wọn sì péjú pèsè síbi ìwọ́de àlágbáyé amúyamọ̀ tàlújá tó ń bọ̀ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Amẹ́ríkà yìí Yorùbá Nation Diaspora Mega Rally in alliance with Yorùbá World Media àti Yorùbá Nation Self-Determination arapọ̀dọ̀ kan ṣàgbékalẹ̀ New York Super Mega Rally ọjọ́ mẹ́ta gbáko ló máa fi wáyé bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọjọ́ ìṣẹ́gun Tuesday ọjọ́ kọkàndínlógún oṣù kẹsàn-án títí di ọjọ́bọ̀ Thursday ọjọ́ kọkànlélógún oṣù kẹsàn-án bákan náà látago méje òwúrọ̀ títí di agogo mẹ́rin ìrọ̀lẹ́ New York Times láti máa péjú pésẹ̀ gbóhùnsókè rárá fáyé gbọ́ wípé ó tó gẹ́ Yorùbá self-determination is our right Yorùbá fẹ́ dá dúró a fẹ́ kúrò lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀tàn a fẹ́ kúrò nínú ìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjà a sì rọ gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa jákèjádò àgbáyé tó ń bọ̀ wá síbi rálì yìí wípé ká pàdé lọ́jọ́rú ogúnjọ́ oṣù kẹsàn-án ní rally location 78 UN General Assembly 405 West 45th Street New York City New York 10017 fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí fún ọ̀kan ọ̀jọ̀kan ìbéèrè tẹ́ bá ní ẹ kàn sí wa látòrí èyíkéyìí wẹ́bsáìtì yìí www.megarally.org tàbí www.yorubaworldmedia.com ó sì lè jẹ́ www.ysdm.org bákan náà ni ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ fi àtẹ̀jíṣẹ́ sọwọ́ sí Prophet Ayọ̀délé Ológun lolúwa lórí +1 803 846 1116 Mrs. Jumoke Ogunleye lórí +1 347 703 7819 Dr. Sabi lórí +447 440 715 542 Mr. Gani Alagbala lórí +1 713 875 3339 Koiki Media lórí +447 594 050 979 Ìyálóde YSDM lórí +447 442 177 677 Mr. Abiodun Ojo lórí +1 347 301 8360. ẹ má gbàgbé wípé a fẹ́ kí gbogbo ènìyàn tó pọ̀ lágbàáyé ti wà ní sẹpẹ́sẹpẹ́ ní venue lọ́jọ́ Wednesday ogúnjọ́ oṣù kẹsàn-án lọ́jọ́ tó jẹ́ dídé gan láti sọ fún gbogbo ayé wípé ó tó gẹ́.
Well, that is the upcoming Yoruba mega rally in New York City as the General Assembly is coming up. There's a breaking news coming from Abuja as the court is still sitting right now at exactly 11 minutes past 8 p.m. The tribunal have strike out Atiku's dual citizenship case against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Once again, this is the latest coming again from the election tribunal. We do not know whether they will be able to give the final judgment with Atiku, but we know that Peter Obi have lost out. Peter Obi says he's going to be challenging that. But right now, as I speak to you, the latest coming is that Atiku dual citizenship case has been struck out. Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Peter Obi Labour Party, and the Allied People's Movement are challenging President Bola Tinubu's declaration as the winner of the 2023 presidential election. This set of judgment has been delivered so far, but the latest coming as I speak to you right now is that the tribunal have strike out Atiku's dual citizenship. Now let's go straight to what we know from the government in exile of the Biafra. That is also, so much activities coming up from their side. There is also the hashtag revolution now is trending. Aisha is trending. Somalia is trending. Iran is trending. Those are the latest trending. As we know right now, Abure is trending. The vice president, nobody knows what is going to happen, but it seems that they have delivered the baby. The judgment has been done. And I'm going to also be telling you what the Scottish that are also campaigner, their next outing when it comes to the Scotland protest that comes up every month, or should we say rally, where they're also coming out to tell the world that they are no longer interested in the unity between UK and the Union. Wales are also saying the same thing. But what do we know and what is the outcome from the Biafra is what we're going to be discussing as well in just about a few minutes. If you'd like to know more when it comes to when is going to be the next rally, this is coming from the campaigner of the Scottish. The power of the independent movement is it. People joined the rally for an independent Scotland in Edinburgh. The march begins. So you can see that we are not the only ones saying, yes, we want Biafra. Yes, we want Yoruba Nation. There are so many people around the world that are also campaigning for similar as well. So the next one is also coming up very soon, and I'll be telling you more about that. Also, what is the First Minister of Scotland saying? Umza Yusuf was born in 1985. Imagine that we are standing here again, not in our thousands, but in our millions, and that moment when the presiding officer announces that Scottish Independence Bill has been passed. It is time to put Scotland's future in the hands. The question then is, if Scotland is asking for the right to self-determination, the same right is the same that the Biafra are asking for. The same right is the Yoruba are asking for. And as the engineer is preparing us to listen to that, I'll be telling you a little bit more about what the government in exile is saying. Once again, if you'd like to know more about the ongoing Yoruba Nation self-determination movement, you can do so by visiting www.ysdm.org, and you'll be able to find out all the necessary information that you need to know. As I'm preparing the Scotland Prime First Minister, what is actually saying, we are just about 15 minutes before the end of the program. I would like to appreciate everyone that have joined us and those that have left and those that will be watching this later on as well. Again, let us continue to tell Ogunjibi Marcos to be careful, because whatever he's saying has nothing to do with Igboho. He needs to stick to his Ominira. But this is what the First Minister is saying, Umza Yusuf, some few days ago, which is on the 3rd of September this month.
Gathered not in our thousands, but this time in our millions. The vote has been won. The negotiations with the UK government done. And here we are standing, looking at giant screens that are showing the proceedings of the Scottish Parliament. I'll be in there, but don't worry, there'll be plenty of folk out here. And we imagine that moment when the presiding officer looks at the results of the motion in front of them and says and announces that the Scottish Independence Bill, which will repeal the Act of the Union, has been passed by a majority of that Scottish Parliament. And you take that feeling, and you take that inspiration, and you make sure, and I will make sure, that we will knock every single door in this beautiful country. We will talk to every single Scot with patience, with persuasion. That is our task here at hand, because remember this journey for Scotland to regain her independence was not started by us. We are the latest custodians of that journey, of this cause. It wasn't started by us. It's a journey that's been going on not for decades, but for centuries. Ladies and gentlemen, we may not have started the job, but it's our job, for the sake of our children, our grandchildren, and those future generations that are yet to be born, to get on with it and finish it. And I'll be by your side every single step of the way.
You can see the images, for those of you that are watching it on the screen. This is what we expect our politicians in the southwest, in the southeast, the middle belt, to come into the round table and discuss. I picked up an image of as many of our lawyers that were sleeping in the courtroom today. And maybe they were working overnight, but it seems that Mike Ozakome was having a big deep sleep right there at the image. I don't know whether he was snoring, but this is coming from Simon Ekpa, the government in exile of the Biafra, when you finally catch the high spirit inside the courtroom. Again, as many of what is happening from that latest update, many people were sleeping. It looks like there's some kind of sleeping tablet that was going on at the presidential tribunal today. I'll catch up with these. All these images, you can find them on the government of the Biafra, Simon Ekpa, on Twitter. Again, we've got another one the engineer is going to bring you. You thought you've seen it all. Let me bring you the next one. It looks like some kind of medication was used at the court today. And again, you can see another person sleeping there. It seems that there is more sleeping tablets happening today at the petition tribunal, and there's still more of them as well. But I think we should stick to the two. That is the Labour chairman, Abure, knew exactly what is going to be the outcome. And also, it seems that that is... Now, let's come back to some of the other news that we have. We know that the government in exile have announced certain changes that will be coming up that we would also like to let you know, for especially those of you that are living in the southeast, or if you're planning to travel to that region, so that you are aware of as many of these. First and foremost, there's going to be the Biafra one minute, I'll take that again. There is going to be the Biafra self-referendum convention that is coming up in the next couple of days. Will you be part of the history in the making? Have you gotten your ticket for the Biafra self-referendum convention? You can visit the newdimensionmandate.org. Heaven help those who help themselves. And we'll be getting that the footage up in just about a few minutes as the engineer are working on it. We're just about 9 minutes before the end of the program. I would like to say thank you so much to every single one of you that have joined us tonight, and those of you that are also going to be watching it later. This is still the Star Radio UK network. Every Wednesday, Niger Voices. Appreciation to those of you on the TikTok, the Instagram, the Twitter space. And like I said, the engineer will bring that image, and we can be able to play that as well to us right now. I would like to say thank you so much. Tomorrow is the property hour. For those of you that would love to join that as well, make sure you stay tuned to her. But for now, it's still the last 9 minutes. And this is how, for those of you that would love to visit the Biafra referendum that is happening in Finland, remember to get that ticket and also get in touch with your own groups in the state. And this is coming from the government in exile. Let's listen to this.
Nigeria will surely come out as a nation because we're fighting a just cause. Even a little child on the street will tell you this. We shall never go back to Nigeria again. God's grace will surely emerge as a nation. And so, as far as this war continues, we'll fight to the last man.
Heavenly Father, we your children are lifting our hands for you for the release of your son and our beloved brother, Nnamdi Kanu. We pray for his emancipation. We pray for his divine miraculous liberty. We pray that he will not die in the cell. We pray that God will locate him out from that place. That the miracle of Acts of Apostles chapter 5 verse 20 will happen again. That he will leave the cell and go to talk about the life in Jesus' name. We pray for his health. Kachineke napụta nwatakịrị a.
that is the Biafra government in exile, as also the last update coming from their side before we move back again to the self-determination of the Yoruba, because there's still more or two information that we need to pass on to you. A very good evening to you, our mother, Ore Oluwa Sheyi, and we appreciate those of you that are still with us. Good evening to you, Ife Oluwa, and also good evening to you. What is a name on Twitter, please? Okay, our mother was asking the name of the member of parliament, I guess, is Maria Rima. I'm going to share that for those of you that would love to, check her out. Her name is Maria Rima, and that is spelled as M-A-R-I-E-R-I-M-M-E-R. Mike Alpha Romeo India Echo, Romeo India Mike Echo Romeo. Once again, shout out to my family, and shout out to as many of you that are listening to us as well. So the link, if you want to visit the Twitter handle of Maria, that is already been posted. Once again, if you like the kind of outfit that I'm putting on, and this is now one of our designers that have decided that she will be able to put something nice on us. You can check her out at Omitaf Culture on Instagram, and you can be able to get her from Omitaf Culture Fashion Designer, Bespoke Tailoring. Whether you're in America, in Canada, you'll be able to see some of the beautiful materials that they've done in the past. You can bring your own design, and they can work with your own tailoring, Ashwebi, custom made Owambe. If you also want to send your family to have fashion training, they're also available as well. So go on their Instagram page, and you'll be able to find as many of what they've done in the past. And like I said, there's so many different collectives as well. Before we go back again to the government in exile, Simon Ekpa have declared another 3 weeks curfew. But the difference between these it comes up from September the 18th from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. It is important that you follow all the information that is coming out, because you might not want to be shot dead by the unknown gunmen of the governor of Southeast. Remember that evidence pointed out that former President Muhammadu Buhari funded Ebube to kill innocent Igbos. Once again, we now can confirm that the group pointed out that President Muhammadu Buhari, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, sponsored what we can call the Ebube that was killing. And those killing were almost linked to the IPOB. Remember, everything to destroy self-determination will be done by those that disagree with us. And this is the reason why we must listen to the only authentic media, not the media that will tell you otherwise. If you need to know anything about the going of the Yoruba self-determination, follow the home-based Yoruba diaspora media, or follow the Yoruba world media. Or you can also communicate with some of us so that you are not misled. The Yoruba Nation struggle continue is a right. If you also want to know what is happening with the Biafra movement, do not forget to follow those that have the authentic information rather than going looking for what is not lost. Once again, as Kanu continues to be detained, there will be another curfew that is coming up in the next couple of weeks, September 18, from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Remember, for your own safety, because we know that there are some opposition that will come out and pretend to be Biafra to attack the innocent people. But as long as you are staying at home, no one can attack you in your own house. Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of the Biafra government in exile, on Saturday, a few weeks ago, said if Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the Biafra, and the other Biafrans being illegally detained by the Nigerian state are not released, all the roadblocks, the checkpoint in the southeast should be dismantled on or before the 15th of September, which is just a few days ahead. The people will embark on another 3 weeks civil disobedience with a curfew. This is coming from the government in exile. Once again, for those of you that were probably not aware of the latest Yoruba radio under the shortwave, we would like to state clearly that we must not also go the other way around by not supporting these initiatives. The only way we can have our voices to be heard is to continue to fund as many of the projects that entails around the self-determination. Self-determination is a right. Remember the frequency, it comes up every Saturday and Sunday for an hour on the shortwave. The frequency is 17735 KHZK from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. local time in Nigeria. You can listen to the authentic Yoruba Nation conversation. But on a Monday to Sunday, 7 days a week, you can download the apps on the Play Store where you will be able to listen to other programs. Also, we appreciate all those that are agitating for the right to self-determination. We love you, and we hope we will remain firm and we will not be distracted with so many things that is happening, especially with the religious chaos that is going on in the Southwest. Once again, my name is Olayomi Koiki. And on that note, I would like to say thank you so much once again for being part of the program, as I will now hand over back to my producer back in the studio. We appreciate those of you that have joined us, and next week we'll tell you more of some of the things that we need to know. Shout out to those of you around the globe. Bye for now.
This is Star Radio UK. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
in your car,
At work,
at home.
on your smartphone. The best radio show. The best radio show. The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Well, as we leave you, I would like to appreciate every one of you that have joined us again tonight. We will remain firm. Freedom of press must not be gagged by this government. As I say all the time, Yoruba Nation is not going back. Have a very good evening on the Star Radio, as we now switch back to the